Hello there, this is James, and you're watching Tixee Live. And a very good morning to all of you, and all of you a very happy Wednesday. In today's program, it's basically a follow-on from yesterday's afternoon video, where I discussed, obviously, Microsoft and Google's earnings, and was basically saying, whatever you do, don't disappoint the market. And, unfortunately, they have. Plus, I want to talk about, finally, we're seeing Bank of England and the UK government working together to get themselves out of the mess, and the reaction to the market on this news, and a couple of other things coming up today as well. But before I get into all of that, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research, you do your own due diligence, and of course, know the risks at hand for entering any trade. With that out of the way, let's get started. So, yes, indeed, as you can see from the thumbnail, I'm calling this little video, Hey Google, how were my earnings? As the two big tech stocks yesterday, which was Microsoft and Google, did indeed disappoint the market. Alphabet, Google, their shares took a stumble in pre-market after this news. Their sales to quarter three was announced at 69.09 billion. That's 6% increase from the year ago. That sounds good, a 6% year increase. 6% increase from a year ago. However, previous revenue growth was 41%. 41%. So though there is growth, the growth is slowing. YouTube advertising, for example, fell to 7.1 billion. Versus 7.4 billion expected. This is actually, in fact, a fall of 2%. And that's the first decline for YouTube since 2019. Now, this proves, of course, obviously there is a slowdown in ad spending. Because we talked about this the other day with Snap, because their Q3 earnings were shocking too, was a lot lower. So there is a slowdown in ad spending. Obviously, as well as that, YouTube is facing pretty strict competition from the likes of TikTok as well. So that is, like I say, first time it's dropped, or first time there's been a decline in YouTube advertising since 2019. Now, obviously, on the knock-on effect of this was Alphabet share price did fall in pre-market by 6.32%. In pre-market. If you can remember yesterday in the video we discussed, on average, the companies who have fallen short of their expectations have been dropping in pre-market by about 5.60%. So very upsetting news for Alphabet. It didn't stop there though, because Microsoft also disappointed, because they released the lowest quarterly revenue growth in 5 years. 5 years. Now, the reason for this is obviously we've got a weakening PC market because of lack of consumer spending, and a strong US dollar is hurting it as well, because obviously a lot of parts support from abroad. The stronger dollar makes it more expensive. So we have that. As well as that, across the board, their revenue was disappointing. Azure's revenue growth, which is obviously their cloud services, that fell to 35% from quarter three. So it grew by 35% in quarter three. Again, sounds good, but it's still lower than the previous growth. Advertising revenue on the likes of their Bing service, okay, for quarter three was 16%. Again, it's growth, 16%. It's good news, right, James? No, because the same quarter of last year for advertised revenue on Bing was 40%. LinkedIn, which is owned by Microsoft, their sales growth was 17%. Great. Growth is 17%. Good news again, James? No, because the same quarter last year was 42%. 42%. So again, we can really see a slowdown in growth in tech firms at the moment, which we were sort of anticipating. A lot of people were anticipating a slowdown. They weren't like massively, there is growth still, but it's the fact that the growth is slowing down. And Microsoft share price in the pre-market fell by about 5.76%. Up next, though, for me, and I talked about this at the beginning of the week, I think it's potentially it could be a real big upset. And this is Meta Platforms. They are up next. they are up next. So the likes of Google, Microsoft down, Snap was shocking. What's going to happen with Facebook? Now, the expectation is for them to report its second straight quarterly decline. Second straight quarterly decline. Don't forget, the quarter two revenues, Alphabet, Google was okay, was good. So the fact that Google is now struggling to grow, or its growth is slowing down, what does that say? Or what will that say about Meta Platforms and Facebook? So again, that comes out today after the market is closed. So that's going to be particularly very interesting, I think, to see how that is. And don't forget, I said in the video, the beginning of the week, when we talked about Facebook and Meta Platforms, whatever you want to call them, their investors are telling them to reduce their workforce, and are saying and suggesting to cut down in investment in the metaverse, because this is the thing which is, they're struggling to get off the ground in any way or form. So anyway, that's that's going to be the big one today. That comes out, like I say, after pre-market, after the market is closed. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how they perform today. Moving on, before we look at the markets. Last, remember I said we've spoken about the Bank of England and the UK government. Obviously, Truss government was an absolute nightmare for the market. We've got a new government in place, and I'm pleased to say it does look like they are actually working together currently at the moment. They're singing from the same hymn sheet, so to speak. In fact, Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor, he met with Andrew Bailey, the Governor of Bank of England yesterday, to confirm that they're working together, confirm the Bank of England is independent, and to confirm they back the Bank of England all the way with their inflation fight and their inflation target. So it's very, 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 it's a lot. It's encouraging that they're working together. Like I said several weeks ago, this is what the market needs, to see the Bank of England and the UK government working together. Instead, in the previous government, you had a sort of more of a blinking contest. Who would blink first? Pleased to say, but now they seem to be working together. Sorry, excuse me, which is very good news. Of course, this leads us to the 3rd of November, which is when the Bank of England will do its interest rate decision. The general expectation is that they will increase interest rates by 75 basis points. There is a little bit of chatter. There was a Reuters poll where some analysts say they might go bigger. They might do a whole 100 basis point. But don't forget, we've had the Deputy Governor say that they will do what they feel fit. So the market should price any real aggressive interest rate hike in. But the expectation is 75 basis point on the 3rd of November. Now, how the market stands. Guess what? We've got that pivot hope again, which means we're seeing a slightly weaker US dollar. So let's have a quick look, see what's going on. So first of all, let's start off with the sterling, the cable. As you can see, because we've had this bit of optimism because of the UK government's cooperation now with the Bank of England, and the sort of the hope because of the new Prime Minister as well. Let's have a look. You have a Fiesta. Oh look, they're in the Fiesta is a very popular range. But obviously, they got a new model on the way, and everything is turning to electric cars. I think they have several hybrids already. I don't know how the market reacted to Fiesta, to be honest. I don't think it really reacted. I think it's more reacting to obviously the amount of orders that's coming in. And I think, don't forget, Ford, along with a number of car manufacturers, was downgraded a couple of weeks ago by by Bank of America, because they've got quite a bit of inventories left in their storeroom, which they're not selling. So they've been downgraded a couple of weeks ago. So I think the market's more interested in that than the fact they're ending a very popular range. And I think Fiesta is only sort of is a model, I think, in the UK anyway. I don't think it's a popular model worldwide. So anyway, not much on the back of that, I don't think. But anyway, looking at the sterling. Okay, as you can see, it's currently trading slightly higher. Pretty much higher from where it started at the beginning of the week. We've had 2 days of gains now. This is a daily chart. Currently trading at 115.95, which is past the ING's resistance level they were expecting. So obviously the market is pretty bullish on this. Thanks. You're welcome. So obviously the next key level for me, if you can keep above this, is just around about the 38.2% Fibonacci potentially level there, which is round about just under the 117 20 mark. See how we can get there. Don't forget, this is also being spurred on by, like I say, by the weaker US dollar as well. Because like I say, we've got pivot hope again. That come December, okay, yeah, November, the Fed will do 75, but in December, the Fed will only do 50. So this is what's giving the market a bit of a boost. If you look at the euro as well, God, the euro hasn't seen this in a long time. It's actually above parity at the moment. Currently trading at 100.32. Again, this is all down to the dollar weakness. Obviously, we have the ECB interest rate decision tomorrow. The expectation that the ECB will do 75 basis points, but currently trading 1.0031. So the next real key area to me is going to be around the 50 at 1.0058 level. Dollar yen. Guess what? Currently, we're testing that key trend line and that Fibonacci level. Again, because of the weaker, there we go. You read my mind. That's where we are with the dollar yen. So as we can see, currently trading this key level right at the moment, 146.85 is the level I'm keeping an eye on. Testing that trend line as well, purely down to the fact we've got dollar strength. Obviously, we've had the Bank of Japan intervene a couple of times as well, which hasn't changed the momentum. But this is really down to the potential hope of a Fed pivot. So yeah, we see even a weaker dollar against the yen. Gold. Who wants to look at gold? I do. Gold, as you can see, currently now, because it's got a boost because of the weaker dollar and the bond yields are slightly lower, currently trading now just testing this key area of my interest, potential area of interest, $1,667 is the key area I'm keeping an eye on. Currently trading just above that at $1,672. Let's have a look at Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin, again, testing. It's been in this range for such a long time. Currently trading this key level of $20,355. Currently trading just above that, $20,616. So as you can see, indeed, we have a weaker dollar across the board. S&P 500, again, fourth day of gains, potentially. Currently trading higher, 3,833 points. So there we go. As we can see, at the moment, we've got pivot hope again, and it's weakening the US dollar. And see, we've only real key US data to come is the job market next week, which is the NFP, obviously, because we will be doing a watch along. Events happening today. We've really only got the Bank of Canada interest rate decision due at 2 p.m. UTC. Expectation is them to do a 75 basis point rate hike to increase interest rates to 4%. Other events coming up, like I've already mentioned, ECB interest rate decision tomorrow. They're expecting to do 75 as well tomorrow. US durable goods, German GDP, and German CPI. The market as it currently stands, FTSE slightly, FTSE is slightly in the red, negative 0.33%. DAX currently trading in the green, 0.63%. Euro stocks also currently trading in the green, 0.06%. So there we have it. Don't forget, you can ask me questions like SMS 790 did about Fiesta. It's a very popular car in the UK. It's been around for years. Or simply say hello if you like. Or share with me your opinion. I mean, what do you expect to Facebook tomorrow, for example? Well, actually it's tonight, but the market will wake up to it tomorrow. What do we expect? Or what do you think about the Bank of England and the UK government finally working together? It's an encouraging sight, isn't it? Whatever currency pairs you want to trade. Don't forget, if you think of a question later, you can leave it in the comment section, either on Facebook or on YouTube. How long do you think the euro will stay in parity? Like I say, at the moment, it depends how long this pivot hope stays for, because this is what's driving it. Good question, though. This is what's driving it. It's the pivot hope, but and the 75 basis point rate hike tomorrow. However, what I will say, in the medium to long term, I can see dollar strength again against the euro, because obviously the winter hasn't set in properly yet, and there is, the EU is likely to fall into recession, which will hurt the euro. So at the moment, let it enjoy its little time in parity, but I can't see this being a long-term thing, in my personal opinion. But let's see. Good question, though. Like I say, if you think of a question later, you can put it in Facebook or YouTube. I will see them, and I will reply to them next time I go live on air, which will be tomorrow, because today I'm only doing one podcast today. Reason being, Reason being is I'm doing a special new series starting tonight. So light launch called Tixee Live Presents Trading School. And this is going to be pure educational based. It's the very first one. So it's going to be very, it's going to be the first one to try out. So I'm excited, a bit nervous, but excited. So this is why I'm only doing one broadcast today. So keep an eye out. Obviously, if you're part of this Tixee family members and friends already, you would have received the email about it, and there will be a link. So please click the link and register to come along. And this will be at 6 p.m. UTC. So I hope to see quite a few of you then. But anyway, till next time, don't forget, if you're watching me on Facebook and you enjoyed this little video, by all means, give us a follow. If you're watching me on YouTube and enjoyed this little video, subscribe if you like. Hit the notification button so you know next time when I'm going live. If you enjoyed this video, found it interesting and useful, by all means, give me one of these. It's nice to know that you like what I do. Anyway, till next time, don't forget, these little videos are for educational purposes only, and in no way whatsoever should ever be taken as financial advice. I always suggest you do your own research and do your own due diligence. And of course, there are the risks at hand before entering any trade. Till next time, every single one of you, trade safe.